Hello, Gophers, and welcome back to part 14 of our Introduction to Go. In this video, we'll be learning about panic and recover functions in Go. Before we move forward and start understanding these two functions, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any new notifications on the videos that we put forward. Now, let's start by understanding panic and recover keywords. Before we move forward, I would be considering that you might be aware about deferred keyword. If you don't know things about deferred keyword, please feel free to click on the eye icon on the top right corner and watch the video where I have described the deferred keyword. Now, let's understand what panic means. Panic is a keyword where you can tell the Go program that the execution of my program should get ended because we have encountered an error and the program should not continue. Now, normally the internal library of Go will never panic and end the program execution. The program will normally return an error so that it's up to you if you want to panic or you want to continue execution of the program and handling the case of the error. Now let's understand how we can use panic on our own and handle panic using recover keyword. Now, for example, I have two variables, let's say a comma b, and whose value is equal to 1 comma 0. Normally, when I try c is equal to a divided by b, this is a panic situation. So let's first comment other part of the code so that now fmt.println c is, and then I'll mention c. Now this program, when you compile this program, you'll not have any errors that will be there on the compile time. But when you run this program, you'll face issues that will say that can't divide by zero or something like that. So let's try and run this program. Go run. Now, when you see the program exited with status 2 and it has mentioned integer divided by 0 error. Now, this is a panic situation which Go has raised because of some operation which was not handled. Now, we can ourselves do this panic and we can help in handling such cases, because in this scenario what happened is the program execution stopped and if there was some statement that is like print this, or if I had some fmt.print ln hi, and now let's clear the screen and run, we will not get hi also printed on the screen because the program has raised and panicked on this statement, and then these statements were not executed altogether. Now, what we can do is, if we want this high to be printed in any case, if the divide is success or not, we can use a deferred keyword before doing the division operation. So, if we run the defer, uh, so if you see, we get an high before panic is thrown. So, normal execution of Go program states that if it gets in panic situation or a panic is raised by the user itself, then it will end the flow of the program. That means then and there, wherever the panic situation is raised, there will be no statement executed in that particular block of program, but but the deferred will be executed, because deferred is something that is executed after the function has ended or the block has ended. So that will anyways get executed. Now this is also important because at times you might have opened some resources and you want them to be closed. But in case, like if you have opened a connection to your HTTP server and there is some issue like this one divided by zero has occurred. So if in case deferred don't get executed, deferred statement where you might have closed the connection, then there might be situations where you might have left many connections open. So deferred helps you handle those things, that in case there is a panic, then also deferred will get executed. And then only the panic will get printed. So that is, if you see over here, we get high printed first. Okay, one second. We get high printed over first, and then we get the panic printed. Now you can also create your own panic statements. Now let's see how we can create our own panic or own error statement. Now let's say I have a function, let's say func divide separately, and which takes two arguments a comma b. So over here, what I want is the answer or the output of the division of these two. So the return type normally should be an integer, and we would also return back an error. So I would like to return an error from the function. Now over here I will say that if b is equal to 0, then in that case uh, return 0 comma fmt dot error f. Now error f means this will create an error object for you, having the message that you want to send it to the user. So let's say cannot divide by 0. So this is an error that will be sent in case b is 0. But if b is not 0, what we will do is return a divided by b and then nil for the error. Now let's run this program. I will remove this, divide a comma b, and the output will be c comma error. Now over here what we want to do is that if in case we have received an error, I don't want my program to get executed further. So I want to raise panic of my own. So that we can do. So if error is not equal to nil, then uh, fmt.println error, and then I will raise and panic again, panic, and I will give error. So in this way, the program will get executed, and in case we receive an error from the divide function, we can ourselves create and panic. But if there is no error, then we'll print ln, sorry, answer is C. So over here, what I will do is we'll be printing the value of C. So in this case, I have got can't, it cannot divide by 0, because this has printed that part for us. And now if you want to be very sure, manual I have written and with a space. Now let's run, let's see if The first print is that from the println function. So this is from the println function. And then as we have raised the panic, the program execution of this main function has got ended and we have not been able to print this thing. So that is why we have gotten panic which says cannot divide by 0, which was the exact error message that we have coded over here. So the error message that we received was the panic error message. Now it has given the complete stack trace as well because it actually raised panic from this place, so it will give us the stack trace of line 24 only. Now, where does the recover function comes into picture? Now, at times you might have encountered where your program gets should not get ended abruptly and it should continue its normal course and panic should not be there. So in that case, let's see if I might have not done this, then what would be the result? So it says manually cannot divide by 0 and answer is 0. So in that case, this would have get executed. Now, let's see how we can recover our program from an error. Now, I'll remove this part and I'll also remove this function. Now, over here, I have used one example where I had opened and file in my program and printed first five characters of the file. Now, let's suppose if I have given a name of file that is one, I'll import this package, import fmt and os. These are the two packages that we'll be needing right now. So in case I have given a file name that does not exist in the folder, now I will give an deferred statement of close and then check an error. So when an error is checked, I don't want to panic, but I just want to print fmt.println e is the object, and I don't want to panic. Okay. Now in this situation, what will happen is it will check for error. We have an error, it will print for that error. And then it will try creating a b1 variable and then again try to read this file. So let's see if this read statement gets executed or not. So this read statement should also eventually give us an error and which should get again printed from this program. Now let's see how this behaves. Now you see the first one says test1.txt system cannot find the file specified, which was an error that came from this place because it did not find the file. Then it says invalid argument because it was not able to read the file because F was never opened on the first place. So that is why it said that invalid argument because F does not as F does not exist in the first place because it was not able to open the file. So, if in case you might have handled it in such a way that normal course is on and you are again accessing a variable which does not actually exist because in this case when we have an error we cannot access this f variable. So what we can do is, for example, I have a function, or let's say if I raise a panic over here, let's take that example, panic. If I have raised a panic, what would have happened? So it would say that the system cannot find the specified file and nothing else which was getting printed like 0 bytes or anything that does not get executed because it went through this line, raised an error which was checked and a panic was raised. As soon as this panic is raised, we went to this function and we did not have any recover. That is why it came out of this and did not execute anything apart from the error after this error. So what happens if we want to recover the program for this and after this, and we want to do something like fmt dot print f, and it says and or file open. Let's see if this is currently getting printed or not in current situation. No, we are not getting the print statement of end of the file open command. So how we can do this? So what I will do is create a function read file, okay, and I will give file name of type string, name of the file, and then we'll have an file object or yeah, file object that will be returned. So we'll return a file object and an error, sorry, and an error. And now what we'll do is we'll do like this, and if, and over here we'll have one deferred statement, defer deferred, and we'll have an anonymous function. It says if error we are recovered is there and error is not equal to nil, then I will just fmt dot print f, and I will say that I will just print the error. Print f, I'll take it as print ln, and I have just printed this for now, and then we have checked the program. We have also closed this. Okay, now yes. So we want to first close this file. First recover from the panic, then close the file, check the error if there is. So we do not want to check the error, we just want to do this. Now we'll return f comma err. Now I had stopped the video and taken some steps forward to complete the program so that we don't waste on typing the program too much. So in the read file, I have removed the out variable of error because we'll be handling the complete error over here in the file itself, in the function itself. So what I have done is we are trying to read the file. If we face an error or not, we have a deferred statement which will close the file so that it's easy for us. But normally we don't do this in this file. We should always do in the calling function so that whatever the case is, file does not get closed because we are retaining the same object of file. And if we close the file over here, then the receiving function will not be able to access anything of the file. So then I have a deferred statement, and it has an anonymous function and which should get executed as soon as it is declared. So it should behave as an ify function that is there in the JavaScript. So over here we have said that call recover, and recover will give you an output of whatever error was encountered, and it has recovered the program normal flow, but still it will whenever the panic is there and this recover is there, so it will not end the program, it will continue the program normal duration of code. And then if error is not equal to nil, that means there was some error that was encountered right now, and then we have printed the error, and this will be in deferred statement. Now just after the file is opened and we check with error, And in check error, I have raised in panic uh, whatever the error is received with. And if we don't have anything that creates in panic over in the check function, that is error is nil, then we'll return the file itself, the file object. Otherwise, the panic is raised, and as soon as the panic is raised, the function will get exited without running this statement, but the defer will get executed. So defer will recover the program from the flow so that it gives control to the calling function, and the calling function can do whatever it wants to do. So what we are trying to do over here is the calling function will get f as nil because in check we have already panicked, and if we won't have panicked, we could have returned the object of f or error, whatever we wanted. But right now we have created a panic, that is why we'll not receive f, we'll receive nil for f. So over here I have anyways written that defer file close, so that if file exists or whatever the case is, it will close the file object. I have printed a statement, then I've checked if file is not nil, then we'll access the five characters from the file. Now let's try and run this program. So it says open test1 because we try to open this test1 text. System cannot find the specified file. This was an error that was printed from this statement. Now if you want to be very sure, I will say defer so that we get a keyword defer before printing this open thing. So now we are sure that this was printed from this line, which was a deferred function, which got executed after a panic was raised from here. Now, after panic is raised, we have recovered the program, so the program flow will not get ended, but this function ends then and there. So over here, when we come, we again have given a defer file close, which will not be applicable for now because the file is not existing. So it will close nothing. But we've got an end of file open printed. Now, if f is not nil, then all this will be executed. Now let's see if we change the file name, what happens. Really sorry for the error because I've hard coded the file name over here. So I'll change the file name to the variable that is getting passed from the calling function. Now let's try and run this. Now you can see end of file because when it went to executing this line, it got the file. So the error was nil. So check did not return any, did not panic anything. So this deferred did not do anything because this error was again nil for it. Now, if you want to check that part also, we can definitely go ahead and print something else. Therefore, no error we'll mention over here so that we get very sure of like, see, deferred no error. So this prints that there was no error to recover. That is why it went over here and printed F. Now, returned F, sorry, the file object. Now, over here we receive a file object and we have written a defer so that whenever the main function gets ended, whether it raises a panic or not, the file object will definitely get closed. So we don't have to worry about closing the file object in case of any error or a normal course of program. After that, we have printed this line, end of file, open, and then it has read five bytes of the file. So the file had hello world, so 5 bytes are hello. So that's that's how we can use panic and recover in Go. And this is normal flow where you should actually handle errors in Go in this way so that your program does not get ended abruptly when it is running, when you are using HTTP package, or you are running some heavy load programs on your production, and suddenly if there is some invalid request and something went wrong and your program gets ended. So you should normally try and handle all the error cases on your own so that you can do it. But yes, whenever you are using an HTTP package and you are trying to access, you are trying to open the complete HTTP on a particular port that says open on a server, open on a port. So you mention, like for example, you mention a port that is port 80 and your port 80 is already used. So your HTTP server will not get initialized. In that case, you will definitely raise a panic and stop the program codes there. So there are some situations where you don't want the program to continue and you want it to end then and there. That is up to you. You can rethrow the panic from here. So panic I have rethrown. So if I throw the panic from the deferred keyword which got executed after the read file, so we will not be able to execute anything that is there in this just after the read file. So let's try and do it. I'll again change the name of the file. Now let's try and run this. So it says from defer we got, defer means this statement. We got an print saying that system cannot find the specified file, and then we have panicked again. So that is why it has mentioned from recover. After recover, we have again raised a panic, and that is why the complete stack trace is there. And it says that it got an error from line 20. Line 20 means over here, which eventually got an error from line 10, which was this, and which eventually got an error from line 25, which was this one. So the starting point is line 29. Line 29 is this one, read file. So first it went to read file, then from read file it tried this, went to check error. Check error, then it raised, so line 29 first, then line 25 was executed, which raised a panic on line 10, and then from line 10 it raised a panic, and then we were executing a deferred statement, which was actually trying to recover something. And from after recovering, we printed this. Then still we have raised and panic again. So it said panic from line 20. So this is the complete stack trace that we get printed over here. So this is how you can actually debug from where the error has started. So if I was a developer, I would definitely go ahead on the last line of my program, which is the first point where the error actually got started, which was line 29. So line 29 is this one. So this is the place where it all started. So that's all about panic and recover functions. Thank you for watching the video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any new notifications. Also do comment us below on any feedbacks or any new tutorials that you want us to do.